This is Block 6, the Great Depression, Section 3, Franklin Roosevelt, the election of 1932, with this section starting lame duck. Lame duck is a funny term. It gives an impression of a poor little duck swimming around with a lame foot or whatever. The term is given because, as you probably know, there is a gap between the presidential election, which is in November, and the presidential inauguration, which is in January. When you are reading this, you are hopefully on the December side of winter break. And President Obama has been re-elected in November, but he has not yet been re-inaugurated. That he is still technically in his first term, even though he was already re-elected. That period between the election and the inauguration is known as the lame duck period. Because imagine for a moment that President Obama had lost his re-election campaign. He would still be president, but everybody would know that on January 20th, Mitt Romney would be becoming president. He's less of a lame duck now because he was re-elected. The last time we had a lame duck president was in 1992, when George H.W. Bush lost his re-election bid to Bill Clinton. But Bush was still the president for the next 2.5 months after he lost the election. Well, it used to be even longer than that. When the Constitution was written, and until 1936, the president was not inaugurated until March 4th. So, when President Hoover lost and Roosevelt won, President Hoover was still president all of November, all of December, all of January, all of February, and Roosevelt was not going to be inaugurated until the 4th of March, 1933. It was a long, drawn-out, and extended, what's known as a lame duck period. And the economy kept getting worse. And Roosevelt and Hoover did not like each other. Hoover wanted Roosevelt's help in getting certain things through Congress. Roosevelt refused to help him, saying, hey, I'm not taking responsibility until it's my administration. Hoover accused Roosevelt of wanting the Depression to get worse so he could be seen as the savior of the American people. The two men were not on speaking terms. Because the lame duck period was so long, during Roosevelt's first term, Congress passed what became the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. And the 20th Amendment, all it did was it shortened that lame duck period. The 20th Amendment took Inauguration Day, which had been on March the 4th, and it moved it to where it is now on January the 20th. So now you only have 2 months of a lame duck instead of 3.5. But the first time Roosevelt was elected, he did not take office until March of 1933. But when he took office in March of 1933, the American government would never again be the same.